Hi, my name is Samantha, and I help ambitious women to lead themselves with love, meaning I help them to manage their emotions, really to manage their minds in order to manage their emotions so they get better communication and connection with their kids and husbands and their employees. So, a lot of powerful women, we have a lot of powerful struggles inside ourselves. And it really comes from a high level of ambition that can work for or against us. Sorry, I hope it doesn't run out of battery. Uh, so I have a private group of about 450 women, and recently a lot of parents came into the group, and I'm serving them. And my kids asked me, "How many subscribers do you have on YouTube, Mom?" And I don't have any, or I found out I had a few. And I upload my support to YouTube anyway and share that in the group. So now I'm just sharing this with everybody. So this is for mainly for women. Anybody's interested in leadership, and leadership is about leading yourself to deal and acknowledge your own triggers just as fast as you're triggered, right? So stay tuned. If you're interested in this subject, drop me a comment below. I am just here to serve. And today I'm looking at some questions. I'm doing them one by one. I want to serve each and every woman who's come to me that mainly struggling with anger and then the guilt and shame that comes after that. So that's what I'm talking about now. I also do leadership training. It works very well in corporate and also couples counseling. To me, it's all about leadership. How do you lead yourself with love and trust versus fear and insecurity? And just notice the difference. So today, it was a woman from Sweden. I have actually mostly women from the States and then a lot of women from Australia reached out to me just as the fire was starting. And now with Corona, of course, everybody wants to kill their husbands and kids or feel like, so it's all exploding. But this was a woman who reached out a while back, and she's from Sweden. She's a single mom. She's saying what she's struggling with is staying calm and collected with my daughter when she is purposely stringing me on. And what she wants help with is to improve how I relate to others, from my immediately family to the people on the street who irritate me for silly reasons. So, first of all, to you, uh, thanks for your honesty. That's amazing, and thanks for being so honest about that, and seeing that that's what's going on. And so, I see a clear connection between the two, right? My daughter that's purposely stringing me on, and people who irritate me for silly reasons. So it's great that you're acknowledging and seeing you're in a place where you get triggered, because honesty is really the first step. So there are various exercises, but let me tune into to how to best serve this woman and anyone listening who has that same issue coming up right now. So focus on what you want to stay calm and collected. That's your intention. That's good. So keep reminding yourself of that. So in basically in communication, if you're able to ask yourself before you speak, well, first of all, ask yourself how you're feeling and then don't speak. If you're feeling calm and annoyed, try to beep, shut up, right? If you can. So the way we manage our minds is basically three things. We create peace of mind, we look at the stories we tell ourselves, and we look at the story we told ourselves when something traumatic happened before puberty about made up a story about ourselves or the world around us. So, but to get a little quicker and not get all deep, uh, doing therapeutic work, so stay calm and collect whole show because I got so angry at my husband and I wanted to figure out what's going on and create more peace and love and less war. But I realized I saw that I was creating war in all my relationships. So the first step is admit and acknowledge, just like in AA. And what you're doing now when you're reaching out to me is you're doing step one. You're asking for help. You're acknowledging I'm exploding. I can't control. I need help, just like the alcoholics do in the AA 12-step program, right? And so I won't get into all those 12 steps, but the three fast ones that I use and that are pretty simple exercises around is honesty, responsibility, and choice. So honesty is like get real about how you feel, and you are. Why is your daughter tricking you, triggering you, not tricking you? How do you feel? Like take that inventory check. You might not be able to do it in the moment, but after you blow up and things happen, just what was it that triggered you and how did it make you feel? So I did this exercise when my husband shut down because a lot of people were asking me what they really wanted was to not get triggered or angry at my husband, to not, what was it, to not get triggered when he shuts down or I get angry at him. And I did this whole exercise and it really helped me and a lot of people. So think about, get real about how you feel. That's why I said great that you're sharing that and getting honest about it. How does it make you feel? So the way it made me feel when my husband shut down, the first level of honesty of getting real about how I feel, it was like it felt like, ow, the loving connection is gone because I literally just got it back. And I remember when I did this exercise, we were in the kitchen and I was so happy we're finally back in the loving feeling. And prior to that, I had looked in the cupboard and I had seen a bunch of rooters, and I had this feeling, oh my God, these rooters, I'm the only one. So I had that image in that kitchen cupboard, and I had felt like I think I was envious of his ability to just let it go and not think of it. And at the same time, I felt the burden of I'm the only one thinking, how can you let stuff be and then don't care about it? And then I have to, it has to be in my mind. I'm the only one cleaning up, yada, yada, yada. That story was in my mind and in my head and my heart a little bit. When he got super happy, we had the loving connection back, and he shared, he thought it was so great that he got a new free router, and he was all in flow, and he was really excited and sharing how he went into a shop by coincidence to get a new SIM card, and he got a new free router. He was super happy, and I'm like, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't. And of course, I said something where my annoyance and my irritation came out, right? And he was in that space, and we were both in that loving connection, and he was so happy, and to him, he was just in flow, and I just killed it, right? So whoop, he shuts down like he do. Like that's his thing. He goes into a shell. I'm a Leo. I shout like he's a the star sign. I don't know what's called in English, but he gets into a shelf and he goes like. Anyways, so that happens. But how I perceive it is like, ow, the loving connection is gone. I'm like, ow, it hurts. Ow, 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 ow. That's all I think. Like, and then I go like, oh, wait a minute, you did this. You hurt me. I hate you. And then I go to revenge, right? Sometimes I go to defense and say I'm going to build a fortress around my heart. But most of the time, I went straight to revenge. I'm going to get you back. And then I had another level of feelings, right? So that's how it happened in me. So get really real about what's happening to you and your daughter when she triggers you. How do you feel stringing? She's purposely stringing me on. So our kids are here to test us, right? And the great thing about triggers is there's wisdom in triggers, immense wisdom. So next time you get triggered, just know there's so much knowledge right there. First of all, there's feedback. Even though somebody says something that you feel is, like I just got someone saying, your big ego triggers me. And you go to defense. But hey, wait a minute. Take it in. It's honest feedback, and there's immense wisdom in it. Okay, it's how you react to it, and your response is okay to get triggered. And when I really dove into how it made me feel when he shut down, there were more layers, because the next thing was that I actually knew, not at the moment, but inside me, I knew if I, look at your own emotions. I feel like this. I feel like revenge. I feel like killing him. I feel like why do I feel that? Well, I felt that because deep down I knew he shut down due to something I said or did, right? I knew it. I said that I shouldn't have. Like, oh my God, that router, right? I let it slip that I was really annoyed with the other six routers in the cupboard, or three, and that he now got a new one. I couldn't enjoy his happiness around it. It seems very mundane, this example, but it really illustrates everything. So let me try to make it short. So I knew he shut down due to something I said or did when it took a little further. Then what I noticed in myself was when he shut down, I had an immediate need to fix it. I wanted him back out of the show. Firstly, because, I want the loving connection back so badly. Oh, I hated myself for ruining it. Once again, that's my feeling. That's like my quote. I ruined it. Oh my God. Knowing that that's the stigma, the trauma, my thing, my story that I'm repeating, right? I ruined it again. And this is how I felt. I'm a failure at love. That's my deeper trigger, right? That's what made me want to fix it. That's what made me want to pull him back out of his shell immediately. I wanted him back. I wanted the love and connection back. Why did I wanted it back so desperately? Because I wanted to right my own wrong. I was motivated by the fact that I felt like a failure at love, that I'd ruined everything again. That's why I wanted to fix it really fast. So we never immediate need to fix things. It's based on lack of trust. Sorry, I'm going a little way from the question here. But step number 2 in my 12 steps is called accept and surrender. Stop trying to fix things. And the need to fix things, look where it comes from. It comes from lack of trust. It maybe comes from you feeling like a failure at love. There's something you want to change, but why do you need to change it, fix it, fix it, fix it? With our kids as well, we want to fix it, fix it, fix it, get them to do the right thing. As moms, we're always fixing, doing things, right? The dishes, da 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 da. That's not operating out of trust. Our kids, they don't need us to, they can fix things themselves. They can do things. And this is probably a teenager, but even when they're small, forget the idea that if it's to be, it's up to me. It's not. Just give them space, let them be. Stop meddling in. Take a step backwards, right? So the immediate need to fix things is a lack of trust. When I trusted that my husband would come out of his shell when he was good and ready, that's when I trusted that he would come out way faster. I remember vividly sitting next to him and just patting him on the back instead. Whereas before, the first time it happened, I came into the living room where he had retreated and I was all in martyrdom, going, I'm the one coming here trying to get you back. You're the one who just shut down and broke the loving connection. And I'm here, to repair us. And anyways, I was just on my own agenda. And here's what I found out. So this is more in couples counseling and relations, but it applies to children as well. It's all about leadership. Here's what I found out. When I was there trying to pull him back out of his shell, like I wanted him back, 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 fix my own wrong. I was again telling him that he was doing something wrong. And get that this is with men and probably our children too hear all the time when we as moms talk. This is what they hear. You're doing something wrong. So when I'm asking him to come out of his shell, trying to pull him out, being on my own agenda, run my own rights, I'm telling him you're doing something wrong. And that's what he's heard his entire life. Like mine is, I ruined everything. That's my own voice, right? I myself with my own hands, my own eagerness, I ruined it. And he's like, oh, I'm doing something wrong again. She wants me to do something that I can't do. I'm a failure. That's his, view of feeling like a failure. As soon as I didn't try to pull him out, just sat next to him and gently just stroke his back. And I felt trust. And that I let just wait it out was my answer to the women who wanted to not get triggered or angry when their husband shuts down, was just to wait it out and have trust. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on with your daughter, but I do know that kids are here to trigger us and there's immense wisdom in it. And it's not a coincidence that you see your daughter purposely stringing you on. Like, we don't know what our husbands or kids are actually thinking or doing. We never know that. So we can pass judgment and guess and acknowledge that it feels like that they're testing us. Oh my God, it feels like it all the time. And they're meant to. But it's no coincidence that then people that pass you on the streets, for example, they irritate me for silly reasons, is what she wrote. Like that's no coincidence. If you're in the same situation again and again, that's feedback, right? That's not a coincidence. That's not just because you meet 10 dumb people or 10 loud, 10 something that say something to you in a row. There's no coincidence. I have all my knowledge from the movies Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, and 3, and I urge you all to watch them, especially if you have kids. You don't need any self-help advice. You don't need anything. Just watch those movies over and over again. They have everything. There are no coincidences, right? So step number 4, I'm jumping a little bit in my five. Where'd that go from? 12 steps, right? Step number 4 is take 100% responsibility, and it's a great exercise. And I think that's what, apart from the exercise of getting real about how you feel, what do I feel, why do I feel it? Gee, I wonder what my kid is feeling. I wonder what my husband. I wonder why my husband shut down. I wonder why my kid is doing whatever she's doing where you think she's purposely stringing you on. Oh, gee, I wondered, like genuinely interest, forgetting about your own pain and hurt and suffering, your own triggers, for just long enough to be generally interested and curious. Gee, I wonder what and why. Because kids have a whole different world. So do husbands, right? We're not in, it's not like we perceive it at all. It's completely different, right? Two different planets. So just being like, forget about your own triggers, forget about your own pain and ego, and just, gee, I wonder, like, what's it like for them? That's how you create a connection. And that's actually also taking you to responsibility part. It's where you forget about yourself and you start to connect and you ask, gee, I wonder why. And taking 100% responsibility is something you take because we practice taking it. So how I role play with this with my clients in my teaching, like pretend you're a king or queen or great leader, Obama, Bush, whoever you like, Bill Clinton, like something really majestic that the whole world looks up to. So you have to act in a certain way. So trick your brain to think like you're that king or queen and that you cannot get annoyed, you cannot lose it. If you do, that's okay, because step number 12 is fail and recommit. And it's all about that. I failed and recommitted myself to the life and love I want. You fail faster, you fail forward. It's okay, it's part of the journey. Every time you fail and get up and recommit, you build that muscle up to lead yourself with love, to be more trusting, not jealous, whatever it is you're struggling with. So you don't have to like be able to take responsibility 100% all of the time, but practice it. Pretend that you're that king and queen and you can't get annoyed because like there's TV monitors, everybody's watching you, you're majestic, You're that great, inspiring leader that you really are to your kids and your employees and your husband. And just practice thinking, okay, everything around me is a direct consequence of what I send out. I'm the source of everything in my life, good and bad. And you don't want to, you go into defense because you don't want to take the blame, right? You want to advocate and make the point and explain that you're not the bad guy because deep down you feel like a mommy guilt and all these things. But when as soon as you take that responsibility that you're afraid to take on because you want to defend yourself and deep down you're blaming yourself, you grow, you rise to the occasion. Take the responsibility. You take it in how you communicate with others, but mainly how you communicate with yourself. When you ask yourself, wait a minute, what can I do right now without blaming, complaining, or throwing a huge pity party? Those are the things that stand in the way of connection. Connection is key to managing, to getting what you want. Like communication is connection, starts inside yourself. So when you are just able to ask yourself those questions, you take 100% responsibility, or you just take responsibility. What can I do right now, right here? What could I have done better and what happened? Look at it like in the now and in the past tense. As a leader, as being 100% responsibility, any CEO is 100% responsibility, and you're the CEO of your own life. You delegate and you don't look at it and you don't meddle. If you ask your kids to do something or your husband to do something, you're the one doing something bad if you're meddling and interfering. And most of the time, we're motivated by actually our own bad behavior, and we have this whole excuse and cover up story. It always say it's not the crime, it's the cover up, right? So taking 100% responsibility is a great practice of why am I sourcing these people in the street who irritate me for silly reasons? It has nothing to do with them. Why am I getting triggered? Like, where in my life do I get to go build myself up and be in connection with myself? Step number 7 is self-care and peace. So I go swimming in the freezing ocean. I go swimming in the forest, running in the forest, and I actually used to call it my angry wife shock treatment, to jump into like ice cold water, like sub minus degrees, and it calms me completely down. That's also taking responsibility, taking care of you so that you're not triggered. If you're annoyed with your family, if you can't get out or get in or meditate and lock yourself in the bathroom, that's how you connect with yourself. Then you will connect with them and communicate better. If you're stuck in a situation, remove yourself from it. If you hear yourself speaking and you have annoyance and blame inside of you, stop speaking or practice it. Know that that's the way to go. Fail and recommit, and then recommit to being able to shut up next time, or just the next second. The next moment has a million possibilities, right? So staying calm and collected, you're able to do that when you tap into your inner source of love, which is inside of you, and you do that practicing self-care and self-love. That's how you truly stay calm and collected. Honesty is always the key to management, because you got to get honest about what stories you're telling yourself. When your daughter triggers you, when these people trigger you on the streets, are you saying, "Oh, they're just idiots"? I remember somebody getting really angry because I was biking and text messaging, and I'm like, "Ugh, you're idiot." Oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't be biking and texting, but how long does it take for you? The reason they're triggering you is because you triggered them first, most of the time, right? I triggered them because I was biking and texting. And I just thought, what an idiot. I can do what I want. But really, no, right? I can't. So, how long do you stay in the story and the excuse that the other person is an idiot for triggering you? How long do you stay in the story and the excuse that your daughter is purposely stringing you on? That's some kind of story that you made up. Like, right? You got to get honest about that part, that you're telling yourself that story, and you're definitely not taking responsibility in that story. So, what story do you choose to tell yourself? Everything is a response to what we do. So if somebody triggers you, you triggered them first or something. It doesn't really matter who triggered who. Just get to the root of it and take responsibility and look at it. Like, what I used triggers for many times was realizing, oh, gee, that's how my husband felt. I remember someone once told me something in such an obnoxious way. I was going to do something Friday, and he said, "No, why don't you do it Saturday?" But just the way there was no way in hell I could do it Saturday, just because the way she showed up and told it and said and pushed me to try to do it on another day. She wanted to be controlling and pushy for no reason at all, and I was not enrolled. And then I knew she triggered me so much. She triggered everybody. It was a blessing. Right then and there, I'm like, fuck, that's how he feels. It's not because he doesn't want to do what I tell him. It's the obnoxious way in which I'm telling it. I'm like, oh my God. So there are so much wisdom in triggers. Use it. And I have so many stories around that. When your daughter is purposely stringing you up, she's triggering you. She's responding to something you're setting out. It's feedback. Look at that. Be honest. Don't stay in the story that she's the villain, she's the blah, 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 which we all do. And it's okay. But just notice it, that that's going on. That's not taking responsibility. Staying calm and collected only happens when you're able to practice honesty and taking responsibility by tapping into your inner source of love that's infinite and inside of you. And it's really not dependent on any outside factors. It takes practice. It takes taking the right steps and seeing when you're doing the wrong steps, which is blaming, complaining, and pity parties. And the right steps are honesty, vulnerability, gratitude, responsibility, acceptance, surrender, stop trying to fix things, and first of all, honesty, and all those other great things. So there's bad behavior and there's good behavior. Bad behavior stands in the way of connection. And we do it all the time. Just acknowledge it. Wow, I'm blaming. I'm actually blaming directly or indirectly. I have blame inside of me or pity party. We all have those, right? And just admit it and move on and switch to some of the right behaviors that take you down the love path. Over the time, we do more of the good than the bad. We implement more good habits than we do bad habits, but we gotta acknowledge the bad habits in order to change anything. And you can't do that if you're not honest, right? So thank you for sharing and writing that honest part to me, to the single mom in Sweden who reached out to me. I hope this was helpful to you and to others. And and I acknowledge you for wanting to improve how you relate to others, from your immediate family to the people on the street. You can have what you want. Do the work, do the honesty, reach out if you need more support, and you will improve how you relate to others one step at a time. And you took the first step. You opened up, you reached out to help to me, and I'm honored that you did that. And I'm here to serve and support you. You did step number one. You did that. And then step number two is called accept and surrender. Stop trying to fix things. That also goes for ourselves. Accept and surrender. Okay, I got so triggered by that person or she triggers me. That's okay. You don't need to fix it. Accept and surrender. Honesty, accept and surrender. Number three is very important to parents. Trust that you are a loving mother. It's a little deeper. In relations, it's trust his love. The only thing that goes up and down in our lives is the level of insecurity. And as soon as you trust your partner that he loves you, you stop arguing. And as soon as you trust that you are a loving mother, it goes a little deeper because we blame ourselves, we have mommy guilt, and then that blame becomes blame spillover. So you may not know that that's the root cause of things, but I really do believe that with everybody I work with. So it's about forgiving yourself and trusting you are a loving mother. That's where all your powers are. And that's step number three. And this all work. Take one step at a time, okay? And and enjoy the journey. Enjoy the ride. Lead yourself with love and trust versus fear and insecurity. Just know the difference. Kind of like, hey, I think God give me the serenity, blah blah, something to know the difference. Help me change what I can, and take the help for things you can't change. Right? We all lose it. We all get angry. Nobody's the great parent that we really want to be. Like we can all improve, but just accept and surrender. Okay. Have a great day. I am out. This is fun being on YouTube. Subscribe if you find it's useful. Share it with people, angry moms, moms who are struggling, loving mothers, not angry mothers, and leave a comment below. And I'm happy to just share this with the whole world instead of just my little group that I coach. Take care out there. Bye bye.